Hey guys, I'm J.C.Hollywood and this is This Week in the 80s for the week beginning April 23rd. In 1981, the number one song in Australia was I Got You by Split Enz. The song from their fifth studio album, True Colours, went on to become one of their biggest hits, remaining at number one for 8 weeks and going on to become the highest selling single for that year. In 1982, the Australian band Moving Pictures were enjoying their 6th and final week at number one with their classic hit, What About Me? The song came from their debut album, Days of Innocence, which had been released in October of the previous year. But the success of What About Me pushed album sales higher, and it went on to become the 4th highest selling album for the year. Only a year later, in 1983, a young song and dance man named Michael Jackson was smack bang in the middle of a 5-week chart domination with his song about the perils of a one-night stand with a woman named Billie Jean. The song would go on to help Jackson's Thriller become one of the highest selling albums of all time, but we'll go into that more in a future episode. In 1988, Australia finally had a new number one after 6 weeks with Kylie Minogue claiming she should be so lucky. Who was it that managed to topple the new pop princess? It was none other than Billy Ocean with Get Out of My Dreams, Get Into My Car. The song, which was featured in the classic Corey Feldman, Corey Haim film Licensed to Drive, would stay at number one for 5 weeks. Don't worry, it wasn't the last we heard of Miss Minogue. As far as battles for number one go, it doesn't get more heated than 1989, when fine young Cannibals went head-to-head with Madonna with their appropriately titled She Drives Me Crazy. For this week, they had reclaimed top spot after losing at the previous week to Like a Prayer, the same song they had beaten out 2 weeks earlier. It wouldn't last long though. Madonna prayed her way back to number one, and she'd remain there for 5 weeks, ultimately claiming bragging rights over the Cannibals, who only lasted 3. At the movies, 1983 saw Flashdance claim the number one spot in its 2nd week of release. The film, starring Jennifer Beals as a part-time steelworker, part-time exotic dancer, was nominated for 4 Academy Awards and won for Best Song with the Irene Cara hit, Flashdance. What a feeling. 1984 and 1985 saw the box office dominated by Police Academy and its sequel, Police Academy 2, their first assignment. It almost happened again in 1986. The Tom Cruise Ridley Scott film Legend managed to claim top spot. Cruise stars in the film as Jack, a forest boy who has to stop an evil Tim Curry from destroying the daylight. Tim Curry playing a bad guy, can you imagine it? That's all for this week. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Facebook. And make sure to check out some of our upcoming shows on our Never Ending 80s events page. I'll be back next week with more 80s facts and fun. Till then, this is J.C. Hollywood saying life moves pretty fast. It's better to burn out than to fade away.